So in this video, we're going to go over some possible signs of what we call a catabolic imbalance, where the body may be stuck in that state where it's breaking itself down. We really want the body to break itself down so that it can be rebuilt and renewed. But for someone dealing with this imbalance, the body can kind of be stuck there most of the time. They're not moving back and forth between the states of breaking down and rebuilding like the body should. They're just kind of breaking down. And it was in our video recently on reversing muscle loss over 40 that we talked a little bit about this catabolic state, and I got some questions about how else can I tell if my body may be stuck in this catabolic state. So we're going to go over some symptoms and signs that can show up, and just understand that most people dealing with this imbalance are not going to be dealing with all of these. That's not the goal, is to be the winner and like, I got the high score. But with any of these signs, that can be a possible sign of the body being stuck in this catabolic state. And when the body is really stuck in this catabolic state, not only is the body not rebuilding and repairing things like you want it to keep the body working correctly, but it also has the ability to create some health issues or symptoms itself. So just keep in mind that none of these signs or symptoms are diagnostic of a catabolic imbalance. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving anybody medical advice or diagnosing anything. I'm basically a professional stand-up comic turned nutrition author, because when I lost my voice for 8 years and 23 different doctors couldn't figure that out, I had to dig for my own answers. So now for 20 years, I've been teaching health professionals in more than 40 countries how to help their clients fix the actual underlying causes of problems instead of just covering up the symptoms. So when we're looking at this catabolic imbalance, we can look at this study here on hypercatabolic syndrome, and they basically helped us understand that this is a severe issue seen in the medical world. They understand that the body can get stuck in this breakdown state. They see it with a lot of muscle wasting disease type issues that they were talking about in this study. So this is something that is known in the medical world, but what we want to look at for us is the fact that this problem can happen on a less severe level. And even if it's happening on a less severe level, but it's not significant enough to diagnose you as hypercatabolic syndrome, then it can still create a lot of health issues for us. So when we can look at our body and our physiology to get an idea of what's going on, it can give us insights of things going wrong and that need to be repaired a lot sooner than might show up on like a blood test. So we're going to look at these signs, and the first one we want to think about is insomnia. And insomnia will show up a lot when someone's dealing in this catabolic imbalance state, because at the cellular level, their body is kind of in that awake, go, go, go mode all the time. It was Dr. Emanuel Revici who helped us understand that the body is very good at being in this catabolic state during the day, and then at night it should move into the anabolic rebuild and repair state. But if somebody's stuck in this state all the time, they're going to have a hard time sleeping because the body is stuck in that daytime state. Now, what's really important to understand is that insomnia has a lot of other possible causes. So you don't want to view, oh, I can't sleep, I have a catabolic imbalance. That's not the situation at all. This is just a possible marker of the body being stuck in this situation. So we would want to look at our physiology to see maybe there's something else that's creating insomnia as well. But if we also see like all these markers or a lot of them showing up, that can be a strong sign that if we took steps to improve a catabolic imbalance, then we can improve a lot of these issues. So when I was a major insomniac, this was the cause of my insomnia. But I've helped thousands of people improve their insomnia where their cause was something different than this catabolic imbalance. So another possible problem is chronic diarrhea or loose stool issues. And this will show up with this imbalance because in this state, the body will tend to send more of our water to the bowels and less to the kidneys. So if more of our water is going to the bowels, that can create a chronic diarrhea issues. Now we talk in other videos about other possible causes, but this is a possible sign to show up for. Poor bile flow, where bile has become too thick and sticky to flow correctly, and that can create a lot of digestive problems. That's very common to see with this imbalance because, again, the body is sending most of the water through the bowels and not enough to the kidneys, and that can cause that bile to become too thick and sticky to flow correctly. It's common to see insulin resistance in this state, because in this state, in this study here, and I'll have the link to this study in the description below if you want to dig through this a little bit more, they say it's very common to see people dealing with insulin resistance because the insulin in this state does not seem to be as effective at getting that glucose to sweep out and into the cells. So then the body has to make more insulin to do the same job. When it's not as effective, the body just keeps cranking out insulin, and then the cells become less receptive to that and we become insulin resistant. So that's a marker to look for. Frequent injuries, especially like connective tissue type injuries, because these tissues are not being rebuilt and repaired because the person is stuck in the breakdown state. So when that's the case, those tissues become a lot more weak and it's a lot easier for them to become damaged. Migraine headaches, and when I say migraine, I'm talking about the type of migraine headache that starts in the back of the head. Now there are other possible causes, potassium deficiencies and such, but in this state, when someone's really stuck in a catabolic state, it can displace potassium and create some migraine headache issues. So some physiological markers we can look at. We don't want to just judge things off of symptoms. We want to look at some markers too. We can look at our urine and saliva pH at least 2 hours after a meal, and you can pick up urine pH testing strips at most health food stores or on Amazon, and you can use those strips to test saliva and your urine. So when we're looking at the actual numbers, we'll look on this imbalance guide that we teach people how to look at their physiology to get an idea if things are going wrong. And over here we see the saliva pH, and then here we see the urine pH. So if the urine pH is low, down here around 5, 5.5 or something, but the saliva pH is up here around 7 or something like that, then those pH numbers are far apart from each other. And when that's the case, we view that as a possible marker for a catabolic imbalance. So that's really easy. You can just do that at home. Strips you buy for $12, and all of a sudden you have a possible situation that you're looking at that confirms, okay, am I really having this problem and do I need to address it? When these pHs are closer together, then that's a possible marker for an anabolic imbalance. Now, we teach people how to use this imbalance guide in all of our courses and in our books. And in the description below, I'll give you 2 totally free resources. My book, Kick Your Fat in the Nuts, kind of teaches people how to walk through simple self-tests they can do at home to get an idea of what imbalances could be creating trouble. And you can get a download for that totally free in the description below. And we also have a totally free digestion course that walks people through these same steps. When we show people how to fill out this imbalance guide, it can give a person a really easy kind of picture to see how severe an imbalance is, or if they appear to be balanced in that area, and maybe the symptom that they're dealing with is being created by some other underlying cause that they want to look into. So whether you like to read or watch videos, you can check either of those free resources to understand this better. But a resting pulse lower than 67 is another possible marker of a catabolic imbalance. Specific gravity of urine being greater than 20, and this is usually just a sign that there's a lot of debris in that urine, and it's usually from excessive cellular breakdown. So you can also just pee into a cup and then kind of look at it. Look how pretty my pee is, and if you see a lot of debris floating around in there, or it's really dark yellow and all that kind of stuff, that can be a possible sign that your body is breaking itself down a little bit more than it should and getting rid of a lot of that excess debris out through the urine. So these are just some possible markers that we're kind of looking at. And then the severity of these markers would also count. If you haven't slept since Thanksgiving, well, that's a real problem. That could be a severe imbalance creating that. If you can't get off the toilet because your butt is like a hose that's just nonstop flowing, that's a significant problem. So we would want to look at chemistry to see how severe the issue is, to see how much attention we need to put into improving that. So that free book and the free course will kind of walk you through understanding steps that you can help you improve this imbalance as well. But right now, if you just want to understand the imbalance and some of the things that can cause it a little bit more, you can jump over and check out our video on understanding a catabolic imbalance. I can't wait to hear about your results.